say.
Yeah, the DJI Inspire 3.
Exactly. So, see why they're making these gold claims.
Sounds good. And it's worth remembering the Inspire line. It's been a staple on film sets for, almost 10 years now.
Right, it's got a pedigree. So this is the next evolution.
A significant one, it seems, based on this material.
And they definitely hook you. An 8K cinema drone built to master the unseen. Quite the tagline.
It grabs your attention, yeah.
So let's start with the basics, physical design, and just how it flies.
Well, physically, they describe it as modern, concise, compact. There's this emphasis on streamlined integration. Everything fits together really neatly.
Okay, sleek and in the air, performance, speed, agility.
It's fast. Max horizontal speed up to 94 kph. But interestingly, they also boosted the dive speed, like straight down to 10 meters per second.
Huh. Why is that dive speed important?
Not just about speed for speed's sake. It unlocks more dynamic shots, Keeping up with fast cars, sure, but also these dramatic, rapid descents. Stuff that adds a unique feel.
Gotcha. And what powers this? Batteries must be key.
They are. New TB51 batteries. They're lighter, more compact, give you about 28 minutes max flight time.
Which is decent, but...
But the real kicker is the workflow stuff. Fast charging, yes, but also hot swapping.
Ah, so you can just pop a fresh one in it without powering down.
Exactly. Less downtime on set. You keep shooting, which is huge when you're losing light or need to capture something right now.
Makes sense. Okay, so physically refined, fast, smart batteries. But flying something like this on a film set, especially near actors or in complex spots, takes incredible piloting. What's new for the pilot's experience?
Right. This is where they seem to have made some really big strides. First up, the pilot's own view, the FPV camera. It's totally new.
FPV, first-person view. Okay.
Yeah. Large aperture, super wide angle, and they specifically mention enhanced low light capability.
And the quality. The sources seem pretty hyped about that.
They really were. One called it absolutely phenomenal, praised the exceptional picture quality, and especially the very low latency.
Low latency is key for responsiveness, right?
Totally. They stress that it lets the pilot fly very precisely through small areas with much more confidence, less lag between your input and the drone's movement.
Okay, precise flying. That usually means needing good obstacle avoidance, too. What's the story there?
They're calling it their most advanced omnidirectional obstacle sensing technology, covers all directions.
And customizable.
Yeah, that seems to be a big plus mentioned in the sources. You can tweak the sensing direction, the range, how sensitive it is. And you see it all on a new navigation display, so you can tailor it to the specific shot or environment.
So it knows what's around it. What about knowing exactly where it is? Its own positioning.
Accuracy improvements there, too. Dual antenna design, better internal orientation systems. They say this improves accuracy and safety.
And saves time.
Apparently, yes.
Oh.
One practical thing they highlight is that it mostly eliminates the need for compass calibration, which, can be a pain on set.
Definitely. Okay, now, this is where the sources start talking about stuff that sounds almost sci-fi. Centimeter level positioning,
Right.
RTK. What is that, based on what they shared?
Yeah, this feels like a core upgrade. So the drone uses the usual satellite systems, GNSS, like GPS, GLONASS, etc. But the key is the integrated RTK antennas.
RTK, real-time kinematic.
That's the one. Think of normal GPS getting you maybe within a meter or two, right? RTK uses correction data, usually from a ground station, like DJI's DRTK2 or maybe a network service, and it refines that position down to the centimeter.
Wow. Centimeter accuracy in
Yeah.
the air. That's incredibly precise.
It really is.
And the sources, they basically say, this unlocks things you couldn't do before.
Pretty much, yeah. They're quite clear.
Yeah.
This lets you fly paths and go through obstacles that were just impossible to do before with older tech. It's not just a little better. It's fundamentally different for certain shots.
Right. So impossible shots now possible. How does that centimeter accuracy translate into actual flight features, like planning a route?
That's where it really supercharges things like Waypoint Pro, where you pre-plan a flight path using points in space. RTK significantly enhances the precision and reliability of those routes. They become incredibly accurate and, crucially, repeatable.
And Waypoint Pro has a couple of modes.
Two main ones, yeah. First is repeatable routes. It's like the traditional waypoint flying, but with much finer control over parameters and, again, that pinpoint repeatability.
Perfect for VFX plates or just matching shots.
Exactly. And the second one is called 3D Dolly.
3D dolly. like a virtual dolly track in the sky.
That's basically it. Lets you create an aerial motion path and move along it back and forth. You control the speed manually, still have full gimbal control. It's bringing that classic dolly move into 3D space, airborne.
Okay, some wild examples of what this RTK-powered precision enables.
Yeah, some really cool anecdotes. Someone mentioned pulling off a seamless 13-point waypoint move that literally wrapped around a person.
Wow.
Taking off and landing in what they called an impossible position, flying inches away from things, and the drone was just dead on the whole time. The feeling was, this lets you do shots you can never do before.
That's incredible autonomous precision. But what about when you are flying manually but need to track something? A person, a car?
That brings us to Spotlight Pro. They say it's been dramatically optimized for the Inspire 3. It's designed to lock onto a single subject.
So the camera stays locked while the pilot flies?
Essentially, yes. The gimbal and camera stay focused on a selected subject as you manually control flight.
And the benefit there is...
It frees up the pilot. You can focus entirely on the flight path, navigating, positioning the drone, while the system keeps the subject perfectly framed. Even flying solo, they said. It allows for really complex shots.
Okay, amazing flight control, amazing precision, but it's billed as an 8K cinema drone. Let's talk imaging. What's the camera situation?
This is the heart of it, really. It's a brand new system, the Zenmuse X9 8K Air, and the big news is the full frame sensor.
Full frame on an integrated drone camera. That is significant. What does that enable recording-wise?
Well, the headline is 8K resolution, recording in professional codecs like ProRes RAW and Cinema DNG, huge amounts of detail.
And frame rates for slow motion.
You can shoot full-frame 4K at up to 120 frames per second. So yeah, proper pro-level slow motion capabilities.
Nice. Dynamic range, low light, always crucial for cinema work.
Very much so. It features dual native DI-based sensitivities of 800 and 4000 ISO.
Okay, like high-end cinema cameras often have.
Yeah, exactly. And that helps deliver over 14 stops of dynamic range. You can shoot confidently in varied light, and they specifically call out that it handles low light really well. They were quite direct, actually. One person said the full-frame sensor makes it better than the majority of cameras out there already, and even comparable to a lot of high-end cinema cameras. That's quite a statement for an integrated drone system.
Yeah, that's huge. What about color? Does the footage cut well with other cameras?
Also a strong point, apparently. They mentioned the DJI Cinema color system, calling it equally exceptional, said color grading is very seamless.
Seamless integration is key.
Right. They described seeing detail in both the highlights, like bright skies, and deep into the shadows, like in clothing details, saying that's the kind of detail they usually only see that with the very best of the professional cameras.
Impressive. And lenses. A cinema camera needs glass.
It uses the DJI DL mount. There's a new 18mm f2.8 wide, new telephoto options, plus it's compatible with their existing full-frame primes. The sources called it a unique cinema lens selection, really geared towards aerial work.
Okay, beyond standard framing, do they add any tricks for more creative angles?
They did mention something called tilt boost mode.
Tilt boost.
Yeah, basically, if you leave the landing gear down, the gimbal can tilt up a full 80 degrees without the drone legs getting in the shot.
Ah, so you can get those looking straight up shots or follow something directly overhead.
Exactly. Opens up more creative shooting angles, as the sources put it. Things that were tricky or obstructed before.
Okay, putting this all together, the precision flight, the cinema image quality, the creative angles, it feels like they really focused on making this work smoothly on professional sets. How does it integrate into that workflow?
In several key ways, little things that matter a lot, like timecode sync support.
Oh yeah, essential for multicam shoots or separate audio.
Absolutely, keeps everything locked together in post. And then there's the main controller, the DJI RC Plus. It's designed for pros.
What's special about the controller?
Big, bright screen, 7 inches, 1200 nits, crucial for daylight viewing. And it runs a long time, up to 6 hours, with internal and external batteries. And, like the drone, it supports hot swapping batteries.
Nice continuity there. And for the typical two-person crew pilot and camera op, how does that work?
That's where the O3 Pro transmission system comes in. The sources loved this, said it enables effortless collaborations on set.
How so?
It lets the pilot and the gimbal operator each get their own independent, high-quality video feed from the drone, reliable 1080p at 60 fps up to 15 kilometers away.
Solid feed for both.
Yeah, and there's even a 4K transmission option for shorter ranges if you need that ultra-high-res monitoring.
And does it play well with other standard cinema gear on set?
That seems to be a major focus. It's built to plug into the DJI PRO ecosystem. So yeah, you can have two RC Plus controllers, or you can pair one RC Plus with their high-bright remote monitor.
And that monitor acts like a hub.
Kind of, yeah. It's a gateway to using things like their 4D hand grips or master wheels, those high-precision controllers cinematographers love for detailed camera moves.
Oh, okay. So you can control the Inspire 3 camera with the same tools you'd use on a ground-based cinema camera.
Exactly. And they also mentioned a DJI 3-channel follow focus can connect to the RC Plus. So a dedicated focus puller can remotely control focus and iris on the X9 camera. It's meant to slot right into a Pro Teams setup.
It really sounds like they thought through the whole professional ecosystem.
Seems that way.
So bringing it all back, after digging through these sources, what's the overriding feeling, the promise they felt this drone delivered on?
There's definitely a sense of, like, finally. You hear things like, we've been waiting for a long time, and a real relief that it's as good as you wish it could be. A lot of confidence comes through.
Confidence in what, specifically? What could they do now?
Confidence to pitch new kinds of shots to directors. Shots that we haven't been able to do before. Confidence that the shots they do get will be supremely accurate because of that RTK precision.
And how did they see it impacting their actual day-to-day work?
One quote was interesting. It improves daily work in ways it's hard to even understand yet. Like, it's going to become fundamental.
And that image quality point comes up again right at the end too, doesn't it?
It does. A final emphasis that the image quality is unlike anything we've ever seen on a fully integrated drone.
So if you boil it all down, what's the ultimate goal DJI seems to have had, according to these sources? What's the big vision?
They state it pretty clearly. It was made to unlock a universe of potential for pros, cinematographers, filmmakers, pilots. The idea is to enable them to shoot the timeless work of tomorrow, and circling back to that first hook, to help them master the unseen.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We've heard from the sources about this blend of really next-level capabilities, that centimeter-accurate flight, opening up impossible moves.
Yeah, combined with genuinely cinema-grade 8K imaging from that full-frame sensor.
And then all the tools to actually make it work seamlessly within professional film workflows, the controller, the transmission, the ecosystem connections.
It definitely sounds, based on these sources, like more than just an update. It's positioned as a tool to really push the creative boundaries of visual storytelling from the air. New perspectives, new movements.
Right. It's not just about specs. It's about enabling a new kind of aerial visual language, maybe?
Yeah.
Giving filmmakers that control, quality, and reliability.
Exactly. That creative freedom married with precision. That seems to be the core promise.
So here's something for you, our listener, to chew on after hearing all this. If these sources are right, and you have a tool that can achieve previously impossible shots with absolute precision, deliver images rivaling high-end cinema cameras, and fit right into demanding pro workflows, what genuinely new kinds of visual stories have become possible when those old limits of aerial camera movement and perspective are expanded so dramatically? What does mastering the unseen actually unlock visually?